My name is Sheila Merchant and I live in Ayr. I've been involved with Christian Aid for many years. I think I collected in the first Christian Aid Week in 1957 in Liverpool. I was at school still, and then I collected for a year or two as a student, then had a little gap, but I've collected wherever I've been since then. We moved to Ayr in 1974 and I quickly became involved in Christian Aid in the local church, St Leonard's. I became convener for St Leonard's and was on the Ayr Christian Aid Committee, and I've been an active member of that committee ever since then. I think that getting fair trade into the supermarkets, getting it to be mainstream, Christian Aid has been instrumental in doing that. In the 1980s, I think, they started talking about fair trade. I first heard about fair trade through Christian Aid, through our local regional representative talking about it. And I started going up to Glasgow to get fair trade tea and coffee from the Christian Aid office, which was then in York Street, and brought these boxes back to sell in our church, WDM tea and campaign coffee. And it was not very good, but we drank it in solidarity. And then as time went on, fair trade really took off. And in the 1990s, the Fair Trade Foundation was formed. Christian Aid was instrumental in doing that, along with, I think, probably Oxfam and WDM and a few other organisations. It was our Christian Aid regional representative, Ailsa Henson, who first brought us a bar of fair trade marked chocolate, the first fair trade mark that was given, Maya Gold chocolate, and everyone loved it. And so after that, people became hooked on the idea, and it has changed people's ideas about the way trade should be done. We got involved in a supermarket campaign. We collected till receipts in our churches. And the idea was not to tell people not to shop in their supermarkets, but to say, yes, go and shop in them, but look for fair trade in them and ask your shop managers to stock more fair trade, to tell their companies to do that. And so we took these till receipts, and we got hundreds of them, to the different supermarkets in Ayr and spoke to the managers and said, we want you to stock more fair trade in your shop. We don't want to stop shopping with you. We want you to shop, to buy and sell in a more fair trade way. Maybe Jubilee 2000 is one of the favourite memories of Christian Aid. It was a tremendous day. A coach load went from Ayr. We set off at 5 in the morning. It was a beautiful day in May. We had our breakfast at Killington Lake, and there were other coaches, a few there, also with Jubilee 2000 banners. Then we stopped at Hilton Park service area, and there were lots of coaches and great excitement, all with scarves and banners, scarves like this one, and banners, and people talking excitedly about going to Birmingham. When we got there, it was very organised. We all stood round in a big chain, right round the International Conference Centre where the G8 was meeting. And the idea was to tell them that they must drop the debt. And we stood round, we were by a canal, and we held hands at 1 o'clock and all shouted together, drop the debt. And people blew whistles and banged drums and all sorts of things. There was tremendous noise. Now the G8 didn't have debt cancellation on their agenda at that point, but with 70,000 people standing around them, Tony Blair came out and spoke to Anne Pettifer, the head of Jubilee 2000, and it got put on the agenda, and there was great excitement. And on the coach going home, we listened to the radio, and it was one of the top things in the news that 70,000 people had met in Birmingham asking for debt cancellation for the poor countries of the world. It was very exciting. But the other thing is that I think Christian Aid has an important role in changing individuals, our individual attitudes to the way we live our lives, the way of being in the world. That this is one world. I love the two slogans. We believe in life before death. and all shall be included in the feast of life. And I think that one of the important things that Christian Aid needs to do is to connect with individual people, individual churches, and remind them that it's not just about giving and campaigning, it's also about how we live.